You can't teach 7 feet tall. Let's take a flyer on Ivan Matlekovic.
This is Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Thursday, July 31st, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks so much for making us your first listener watch to get your Thursday going the right way. Special shout out to all you everydayers here with us, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, which I just found out the link was expired and nobody was joining, and now I know why. So if you're looking to join the Discord, the new link is out there in the Twitterverse right now. I just tweeted it on Wednesday, so you can go find that. We'd love to have you join us. Nobody had joined since like June, and I was like, this is odd, and now I know why. And if you want to be a part of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, insiders, we have a great insiders program too, where you get to chat with me and have access to all of my stats and charts and data. That link is working, I promise you that. Joining me today on the show is our good buddy, Coach Bill Robinson, the head coach of the Milligan University Buffaloes men's basketball team and a 2-decade plus now veteran of Carolina Basketball School. That's Carolina's summer basketball camp. Coach, I don't have my book today. I must have left it at home. Coach has his at the ready. Folks, if you don't have Carolina Basketball School, you need to grab it right now. It's a book that Coach wrote and put out all about his experiences through the years at Carolina Basketball Camp. It's phenomenal. So Coach and I coming up on the show today, here's where we're headed. Inside Carolina has been reporting that Carolina is in talks with, and it sounds like it's nearly a done deal, to bring in High Point transfer Ivan Matlekovic. He's a 7-footer. What kind of role, though, might he be in? Coach and I are going to talk about that. And also, there aren't many scholarship spots left, and with the new roster limits, what's that going to mean for walk-on level players? We'll have a conversation about that. And literally tomorrow, the calendar turns to August, so we're going to have a conversation with Coach about how things start ramping up as guys are coming back for the school year to start. Coach, excited to be back together. Hard to believe that August is upon us, but here we are. It's time to get it going again. So, as I said, word from inside Carolina is that the Tar Heels potentially have another transfer coming in. This comes from Sherrell McMillan, who is just so locked in what's going on. When he says it, you can trust him. So, Sherrell says, quote, sources have told Inside Carolina that High Point transfer Ivan Matlekovic is awaiting admission to the university before committing or signing with UNC. It's unclear if any other schools are still pursuing the 7-foot center. Coach, he comes from Croatia. He's got 3 years of eligibility left, 7 foot, 245 pounds. You cannot teach that, as you well know. Coach, it sounds like if he gets admission to Carolina, it's a done deal, which is, I think, wise on him to wait on that, because you don't want a Caleb Love and Michigan situation on your hands. What do you make of this situation, Coach?
No, I think it's a great situation. Admissions has been difficult, I know, with Carolina this year. I know that was part of the issues with Luka, and they don't want to, again, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves, but a great addition late. It's about depth, and it's not necessarily about depth for the rotation, but it's about practice depth. It's about having some big bodies to be able to practice with, and it's about opportunity to see a kid develop. He obviously is a project, and at that size, and the amount of time he still has left, maybe he does turn into a player in a year or two. But for right now, it's more of an insurance policy to have somebody who can bang against Henri every day.
Yeah, I mean, good night. It's wildly different with 6'9" Van Allen Lubin and a 7-foot dude that can come in and legitimately do that. I like you calling it an insurance policy, something you hope you never have to use, but it's glad to have it if it comes to a pinch. So, Coach, why is that? Would you talk about how important it is to have this type of depth piece, even if he never really steps foot in a game other than mop-up duty like a typical walk-on would be?
Yeah, you want somebody you can practice against, who can legitimately portray what they're going to see, at least length-wise, height-wise, in the league. One of my favorite Tar Heels of all time, Patrick Moody. Patrick is Christian Moody's little brother. Christian played for a coach at Kansas, and Patrick came to my camp when he was a little kid. Well, he played 2 years of JV and moved to the varsity. And his last 2 years, his job was to guard Hansborough and practice every day. And Patrick's probably 6'3", 6'4", but yet he just got the snot beat out of him every day in practice. And he embraced that role. He loved that role. One, because he was a Tar Heel. He wanted to do whatever it could to help the Tar Heels win, and then he ended up winning a national championship on that team in '09. So that's a role that's been there for a long, long time. But to have somebody who's at that size with 3 years of eligibility left, at least gives you a chance that the reality is, don't need him now, probably don't need him next year, but in 2 years, maybe he's somebody who can at least get in the rotation.
Man, what a story that would be too if that came to pass, Coach. And I think in more recent times, you think about somebody like James Okonkwo that came in late to be a backup front court depth piece, or last year, Ty Claude coming over from Georgia Tech. I don't think that Matlekovic is at either of those levels, right? Because those guys were coming in from West Virginia and Georgia Tech. So I compare him to them in role only, and even probably a lesser sort of role than that. And so, Coach, I would like for you, if you wouldn't mind, to make the distinction for us between rotation depth and practice depth.
Yeah, your rotation depth is here's the guys who are going to play, and you can plan that ahead. And we're going to talk about summer and what this role is now, or what's going on now between now and when the guys come back. And that's part of what you're doing. You should already have a pretty good idea of who the rotation is going to be, and that leads you to what we're going to do offensively and defensively based on the pieces that we have. But from just that you need practice players. You need guys who can get in there and be able to mix it up. You need guys who can bring that energy every day. And you have a guy like this who may not play a whole lot of minutes, so he's fresh every day. And he's able to push those guys because he doesn't have the 30 minutes a game, weighing on his body. He's just, lifting every day and getting stronger every day and really getting a chance to push these guys. So that depth that you have is so important. They obviously have depth at guard positions, much easier to fill those positions at the guards. There's a whole lot more of them available, but to have a legit 7-foot guy, and that's honestly, that's what the conversations we had with Tamba, with my player who went to St. John's. They were looking for not somebody who come in and play, and Tamba knew that. And he knows that going to St. John's, he's not going to play a whole lot there. He hopes he can maybe find some minutes along the way, but he knows that he's there to provide practice depth to somebody who can just bang on people and to provide legit competition in practice every single day.
That brings up a great point, Coach. So I would imagine you're saying there's no knowing how forthright and players focused Coach Davis is. I would imagine he and the staff are being very honest with Matlekovic about what the deal is and what to expect, right? It's not going to be hey, come here, play a bunch of minutes, and it's a bait and switch situation.
No, it's not. And it's pretty obvious that we all, at least we think, that Carolina's out of NIL money. So it was probably part of that too. You can't bring in somebody that can legit come into the rotation at this point because there's really no money available. And so you get a kid like this who doesn't have a whole lot of expectations, playing time, don't have a whole lot of expectations money-wise, but just wants to be part of something bigger. And obviously going from High Point just down the road to Chapel Hill, that's much bigger. And I think he will welcome that opportunity to be part of, the greatest basketball tradition in the country.
Yeah. And to your point about High Point, they won the Big South last year. This is a guy that went to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, their head coach, Alan Huss, is out the door to Creighton. And so that, it's like, I'm not playing for the guy that recruited me. And so there's an opportunity to maybe change there. Coach, there was something that just came into my brain that just as quickly left. Oh, I remember it now. You talked about Hanjay Tamba, who played for you at Milligan last year, is now out the door to St. John's to kind of fill this same role. I remember back when Tamba committed to St. John's, you had talked to the Carolina staff some about Tamba maybe coming to Carolina. So do you expect then that Matlekovic is essentially filling the same role that they would have talked to Tamba about?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same exact role. They're looking for somebody to come in and not expect playing time. And it's easier to make those decisions now. So the expectations, and when it comes to playing time, everybody wants to play, and those conversations are hard. And if you can get out in front of those issues ahead of time, and you're not going to deal with them as much in season, you still will deal with it as a coach. You're still going to have kids that say, "Well, I knew I wasn't going to play, but I really want to play more." And if at least you can go back to those conversations from the start and say, hey, you knew what you're getting into. We explained it really very clearly from the beginning, and you knew what it was going to be like. And I think he understands. I think he understands that he's not going to play a whole lot, but I also think he's very welcoming to a new situation.
Man, that's cool. Really excited and interested to see if this does indeed come to fruition, as we said earlier, and from Sherelle McMillan, pending admission to the University of North Carolina, which, man, what a thing that would be to be able to have that on your diploma. Now, Coach, if this happens with Ivan Matlekovic, that would be Carolina's 13th scholarship spot. And in this new era of roster limits, what does that mean for typical walk-on level guys? Because Carolina's got more than 2 of them remaining. We'll have those conversations coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about our brand new sponsor here on Locked On, Drip Drop. When I'm on top of my hydration, I notice everything works better. My energy, my mood, my focus, even my skin. But getting enough fluids every day isn't always easy, and that's why I've been loving Drip Drop. They've even sent us some samples. I'm holding up the bag here for those who are watching. Yes, I got the 0 sugar version because, Coach, I'm old and I drink 0 sugar Coke now because, again, I'm old. Drip Drop is doctor developed and scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of a leading sport drink. So, Coach, here's what I want to do today is in my sampler bag they sent me, it's got 4 flavors: lemon, lime, watermelon, passion fruit, and peach. I want you to pick a flavor, and I'm going to try it right here in real time and tell you how incredible it is. What do you think I should try?
It's summertime. We need watermelon. I had great watermelon on Sunday. Yeah, watermelon's a choice.
All right, here we go. Watermelon, baby. My son loves water. Oh, it smells like Bubblicious. I love Bubblicious watermelon bubble gum, and it smells just like that. So that's already got me excited. All right, here we go. Stirring it up. Look at that beautiful.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, listen to it. Let me put this in front of the mic. The Coach, this is going to be great. Here we go. Bottoms up. Oh, that's so good. Like, legitimately really good, Coach. Thank you for sending me in the direction of watermelon. I'm going to have some more of that. Coach, I love it. Maybe your Milligan guys need some Drip Drop for when you make them run to death at practice.
I love it.
Recharge. Thank you, Drip Drop. So glad to have you as one of our partners. Right now, Drip Drop is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. Head over to dripdrop.com and use promo code Locked On College. Again, that's dripdrop.com, promo code Locked On College for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. Coach, it's an interesting era where now with the House settlement, let's remember that we no longer have caps on scholarships. Previously, it was 13 at the Division I men's basketball level. And now there are no scholarship caps, but there are roster limits. And that roster limit is 15. So North Carolina already has 12. Let me run through the name. Actually, I'm going to pull it up in real time for those on YouTube. Here we go. And I've already added Matlekovic's name just as here's what things would look like with him. So Carolina already had Seth Trimble as the lone senior, Luka Bogavac, again, assuming, we're all still waiting on that, but assuming it sounds like things are going well. Kyan Evans, Jarin Stevenson, Jaden Young, Henri Veesaar, James Brown, Zayden Hyde, Jonathan Powell, Isaiah Dennis, Derek Dixon, and Caleb Wilson. So, Coach, if Matlekovic comes, that's now 13 on the roster and on scholarship. Another part of it is that basketball, which has formerly been full scholarships only, can now offer partials, but it doesn't matter because the roster limits are the roster limits. This only leaves 2 open roster spots, Coach. And last year, Carolina had Russell Hawkins, John Holbrook, and Dante Mayo all as walk-on level players. And Elijah Davis, Coach's son, was redshirting. Now he's back in the mix. So we haven't seen the official roster come out yet, but assuming it is those 4 guys, all of whom have eligibility left, Coach, they all can't officially be on the roster. How on earth do you handle this?
It's a great question, and I don't know how he's going to handle it. I know that those guys were still around a lot this summer. They were still there for camp. They were still there for Montrose camp. And I did hear a little, whispers here and there that, hey, this guy's still around. Don't know what we're going to do with him. I don't think that any decisions have been made. I did see some pictures from the Outer Banks trip. It looked like those guys were there. I don't know. I don't know how you would handle this situation. Obviously, maybe a little bit more complicated with Elijah Davis being there, with Coach's son being there. John is a little bit bigger than the other guys, and they need size maybe in practice, as that practice role we just talked about in segment one. So I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I did talk to John a little bit the night ran into he and Caleb Wilson. He seemed very positive, seemed like he was planning on being part of things in the future. And I think, again, it's one of those decisions that coaches have to make that they really shouldn't have to make based on new regulations by the NCAA.
Yeah, man. And so, Coach, obviously this is the only reason we don't really know how things will be handled is because it's brand new territory and we've not seen it yet from Carolina or anyone. I think of the Roy Williams days when there would be 17 or 18 guys, which this would be 17 if all four of those guys were in. One thing, though, that we see all the time is during the NCAA tournament, you are limited by how many guys you can have dress. And so I wonder if there's a thing where it's like Carolina could keep all the guys as part of the team, but if it's like the roster limit is only technically for like game moments, and so maybe they just switch which two, like assuming Matlekovic comes, assuming Luka gets to campus, right? That obviously changes the calculus if neither or both of those things happen. But if not, maybe it's you just kind of filter through. It's like Elijah and John dress one game, and then the other two guys, Dante and Russell, dress the other guy. I don't know. Like, do you see that? And obviously, we don't know. We haven't seen it. Is that a possible path forward?
Ironically, the NAI just did the exact opposite. We used to have 15 limit for the national tournament games, or even for your conference tournament games. They just extended that roster to 17 or 18, I forget. So it's kind of weird how it's the exact same time, but they flipped, how they did things. But I would think, again, I don't know NCAA regulations. I would think that they're going to say there's 15 spots. You got to designate 15 guys, and that's it. I would be shocked if you could, dress guys extra, or sit guys and have extra guys. I would be surprised if they would be allowed to do that.
Yeah. Because then you find other loopholes with with scholarship level players where you could do things like that. And so, I'm a guy that wants to see, I don't know, maybe it's the traditionalist in me. I want all these guys to have these opportunities. But as we look at it, there are these four guys and seemingly only two spots left. And so, again, because it's the first year of it, we just don't know how things play out. That said, Coach, is with that in mind, if that is the case, is it worth it in your mind to utilize this scholarship and roster spot, I should say as well, on Ivan Matlekovic, knowing that these other four guys have been in the program? How would you as a coach wrestle with that decision?
I think Ivan fits a role that they don't have. If John Holbrook was 7 foot, they wouldn't be talking to him. I think John would fit that mold, and he's a great kid, and he's a very good player. He'd be great at our level, obviously, and he'd be great at a lot of Division I schools. But it's just one of those things where if you get an opportunity to get bigger, like we've talked about for how many months have we talked about getting bigger, right. So the opportunity to bring in a 7 footer, I think it forces their hand to be able to bring somebody in that's going to help them win games. And at some point it's got to be about business and not personal. And it sounds terrible because we're about people and about relationships. We talk about that, and Hubert's about people and about relationships. But at some point, it's got to come down to who's going to help them beat Duke, who's going to help them. Even if it's not on the court, it's the preparation to be able to help win those games. When Kansas comes to town. So those are the type of things that he's going to have to answer, and those are hard. Those are head coach decisions, and hopefully now with Jim Tanner too, maybe it's. He'll have an extra person, especially when it comes personal with his own son in there. He might need somebody who's a little bit more, not so biased, I guess.
Not so dad.
Somebody neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's tough. Well, again, as I said, this is the first year of this, so we're just speculating here. And until the roster officially comes out, we won't officially know what's going to happen with this. But that's why we're not the head coach there, and he is. So good luck. Obviously, anybody, like if I was in that role, I'd have to make the decision, and same for you. But we will see there. Now, Coach, as we said, tomorrow the calendar flips to August, which I cannot believe. But I just want to help give folks a behind the scenes look at, now that we move to August, what are coaches doing to begin preparing for school to start back up, for the guys to get back and really get things kicked off and running. So we're going to let Coach kind of take us behind the scenes with that, coming up to wrap the show in just a second. Coach Rob, August is upon us, and that means it's time for school to start. It's been a crazy quick summer. I don't know how it's gotten away from us, but it has. And so just as I said in the tease for this, as we get ready to start thinking about welcoming the guys back to campus for class, I know a lot of them have been taking summer classes. And so whether you want to approach it more from your specific context there at Milligan, or more from extra, some of both, just what are some of the things that are going on behind the scenes to prepare for the school year ahead?
Yeah, one of the things I want to do right now is get away and just regroup, recharge. I want to go stick my feet in the creek somewhere. I want to sit in my chair and get the remote and watch quarterbacks, or watch whatever's the latest thing on Netflix. But
I forgot there's a new season of that out.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic.
I haven't watched it yet. Okay.
I think from Hubert's perspective right now, he's taking what they've seen during the summer, and now they can start to build philosophy wise, offensively and defensively, based on, they think what you're getting with new guys, but now they've actually seen them. Now they can be more specific with what they want to do offensively and defensively. So how can they take advantage of what they have strength wise? How do they maybe hide some of their defensive, things, however they want to build it. But now it's time for philosophy talks. They've seen the summer practices. The guys aren't here right now, or they're working on, getting ready for classes. But those are the type of things I think right now. For me, I don't want to see anybody and my guys for at least a week, maybe two. I just don't want to see anybody. They've been here, for camps, and I just want to get away from them a little bit. It's like your kids. You love them, but it's time sometimes for them to go back to school, and you've been with them all summer, and you just need to get a little separation, and have them get back into doing something else. But I do look forward to when they come back here in a couple weeks. But I need one of my players asked me, what are you going to do next week? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I need a week just to regroup, just to recharge my batteries. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to get back, and then I'm great. Then I'm excited when they come back. I'm really looking forward to them. But at this point right now, that first week of August, I just need to get away.
All the parents around the country are amening your go back to school, and for all of it, right? Like getting back in the rhythm of doing things, and summer's just wacky in those ways. But yeah, it makes a ton of sense what you're saying. You're coming off your last camp of the summer, and it's just like, I just need to sit. And I think that makes sense. Like at the Carolina level, people saw that Seth is off in Spain right now. They're like, how's Seth in Spain? The guys are taking off. They need the break as well, right? Like, yeah, as you said, it's like we all need those experiences. That's the rhythms of our body. And so it's good that they're able to, because the thing I don't want to hear people say is those dudes aren't in the gym getting it right now. It's like, you know what? If they were, their bodies would eventually break down. They need their bodies to reset, just like we all do in anything in life. So Coach, then as I know a lot of guys, whether at whatever level, have been doing summer school, having an academic break right now as well. And so we got 4 weeks before school starts for Milligan, for Carolina as well. What happens then as guys come back together once school actually starts?
Yeah, we'd like to make sure that they are college students first. So we want them to be involved in all the welcome week stuff. They want to play. They want to get in the gym right away. And I'm like, we're not scheduling gym time. We want you to go to Doe River Gorge, go to the Moot Drive-In Theater, go to whatever the sand volleyball tournament. Go be a college student, get to know other kids on campus. That's why we get people to come to our games, because you become friends with non-basketball players. Then they'll want to come and support you. And chances are here they're going to be they're a soccer player or a baseball player. You're going to want to go watch them too. So that's how those relationships get started. But we want them to just be a college student, get away, go and have a good start academically. This is a great time for them to be able to learn about budgeting time and time management, and how they get a good start academically. So once the games actually get started, maybe they're a little ahead of the schedule.
Figure out their humanities classes, which is a Milligan inside thing. That's like the killer class at Milligan. Coach, that's such great insight there from you. I know we've got a couple other things we want to hit on before we get out of here today. A bit of some sad news to share, Coach, that I'll let you take the floor for, but I'll just set it up by saying somebody whose name a lot of people probably don't know, but is a critical part of Carolina for a long time. Would you share, Coach, just somebody that you know personally and some sad news?
Yeah, when I first came to Montreat 28 years ago, one of the officials in our league was Mike Hefner, and Mike and I, you're not allowed to like officials, and I can't find any pictures of us because we were never allowed to take pictures. But we became really good friends and became really good friends at Carolina. There's actually 2 stories about him in the book. And Mike didn't feel well at camp this summer. Told me he felt about 50% the first day, and then the last day he didn't work Montrose camp. Took the weekend off to try to, or the 2 days off to try to recover. And by the time he left, he said he felt almost 100%. Well, I texted him on Thursday night, and got news on Saturday morning that he had passed away. And he had just retired from his job as a elementary school principal. So he did that during the day and then officiated at night. And one of the cool things he loved to do was he got to officiate the Carolina alumni versus team game in the summer. And he did that for years until his knees got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore. But probably 20, 25 years he did that game. And then we'd all have dinner with him at night and say, hey, what was it like to officiate Hansbrough today? Or did Shammond Williams complain, every single call like it seemed like he did? And he hated to officiate when Shammond played because he was such a competitor. But I'm gonna miss Mike a lot. I mean, it's just it doesn't seem real to me. And there's so many people out there with great tributes to him, and we're gonna miss him.
Oh man, that's all well said, Coach. Feel like you honor Mike very well, and man, it's just a great reminder of how quick things can change for any one of us. And so thankful for him and his life, his impact, both as a school administrator and in the basketball realms as well. And so, Coach, I'm so grateful to you for sharing about him and honoring his legacy today. No easy way to turn the corner to fun news, but so we'll just do it and yank the cord that way. But I know you've got a special family shout out today to wrap the show.
Yeah, it's my sister's birthday today, and this is not the big 0 at the end of it, but it's the last one before she has a 0 at the end of it. But her birthday is today, and she's a faithful listener to the show, and just wanted to give a shout out to Jody for her big birthday on July 31st.
Jody, shouts to Jody. We're so glad you're here with us. Thanks for letting your brother be a cool boy. And we need to get her on and tell some stories about you sometime and what a dork you are as a brother.
That would not be a good idea, but yeah.
Love it. Happy birthday, Jody. We're so grateful for you. All right, guys, thanks so much for being with us on the show today. We'll keep our eyes on Matlekovic and all the news with that. Very excited to get school going. Man, we're so close. Literally a month from tomorrow is the first football game, and then it'll all be here before you know it. Carolina will be off playing BYU, and that's going to be a blast in October. All right, gang, you know the drill. If you haven't subscribed to Locked On Tar Heels already, make sure you do so you don't miss a second of the show on audio and video platforms. As we joked about earlier, there's a new Discord link, and it works. And so if you've not joined the Discord, we'd love to have you in there, man. It's free to join. It's a great community of Tar Heels hanging out. If you want to go next level with the show, join the Locked On Tar Heels Insiders program. That link is also in the show notes. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow to wrap up the week, but until then, peace. Grab a book.